Recording in progress.
Ready to go? Okay. Good evening and welcome to the South County Fire Board of Commissioners regular board meeting for May 19, 2026. I will call us to order, ask everybody here to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, board members, you have in front of you the draft agenda. I don't believe there's, Chief, I don't believe there's anything else for the draft agenda. Is there anything else for the draft agenda? Anything else for the draft agenda? If not, I will move that we approve the agenda as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Chan. It's been moved and seconded to adopt the agenda as presented. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? If not, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. That moves us forward then to item number 4, which is the consent agenda. And this evening in item 4A, we have the May 19, 2026 claims vouchers totaling $1,418,509.19. I will move the adoption of the consent agenda, which includes those claims vouchers. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Walkerman. It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda items. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion?
On the
Consent agenda.
Consent.
Claims vouchers.
claims voucher, just
Yeah.
claim, okay.
Yeah.
Actually,
Any discussion?
I'm sorry, I was just making some questions on the number 9 discussions.
Okay, well, when we get there.
Okay, so because I really feel like we should delay it and stuff, or should we have discussion on that? Yeah.
Well, when we get there, we can talk about it.
Okay.
Very good. Anything else for the consent agenda? Any discussion on the consent agenda motion? If not, I'll move to a vote to approve it. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. That moves us forward to item number 5, which is approval of the meeting minutes. In 5A, we have the May 5, 2026 regular meeting minutes. I will move the adoption of those May 5, 2026 regular meeting minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Fernhoff. It's been moved and seconded to approve those meeting minutes. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? If not, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you. That moves us forward then on the agenda to item number 6, which is public comment. And we'll start first in the room and then go to our Zoom platform. Starting first in the room, I believe this evening we have signed up for a public comment. We have Roger Pence. Mr. Pence, if you could come forward to, I think it's that one. We want to make sure that the button for the audio is pressed there.
Is that
There
the
we
right,
go.
is that
Okay.
the right button?
Exactly.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Pence. You could please state your name for the record and then you have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Roger Pence. I am a resident and voter in the city of Edmonds. And I'm here to talk a little bit more about the proposed bond issue that is on your agenda later in this meeting. And at the risk of repeating some of what I said on an earlier occasion, I think this issue is deserving of more discussion with your voters, more community engagement, more civic conversation. You announced in early December that you were going to be working on developing a bond issue for the November 26 election. And unfortunately, for the period between then and April, there was no public involvement in developing that. And an issue of this magnitude, $420 million, 14 different stations affected, it's deserving of some conversation with your voters. And given the schedule of county elections, you have until the end of July to put something to the elections department for the November ballot. And I would urge you to take that time, 2 months, to hold a 3 or 4 or 5 community meetings where you could explain the issues, the needs to the voters and hear from folks. Give them an opportunity to ask questions and get answers in real time in a public forum. It's something that I did in an earlier professional life, and I have chatted with some of you about my interest in volunteering my help. I'm retired, have nothing better to do, and I'd be delighted to help this organization put on some successful events that would accomplish what I'm talking about. So thank you for hearing me out.
Thank you, Mr. Pence. All right, any other requests for public comment here in the room? If not, let me turn it over to Ms. Blankenship. Do we have any requests for public comment on our Zoom platform?
I believe I do. I don't see Mayor Rosen's hand, but I do know I'm going to promote. Oh, there we go.
Hello, good evening.
Hello, Mayor Rosen, good evening.
Yes.
Great. You're
I
on
think you
for
can hear me,
public
but you
comment.
can't see me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Great.
We can't see you. I don't know if you can come on video or if you want to, but you're on for public comment and you have 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Thank you. It's good to see you all, even if virtually and you can't see me. Commissioners, thank you for this opportunity. I recognize that you all face a lot of enormous challenges, and I am personally painfully aware of what it means to govern in a time when every public institution is being asked to do more with less. I get it. And tonight, I want to address just 3 of those challenges. First, some of your facilities absolutely are in immediate need. Second, this request is coming, let's see. Did you lose me?
No, we can still hear you.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. You go ahead.
All right, I think there I am.
Oh, there we go.
So first, your facilities are in trouble. Second, residents are being asked with a lot of competing demands. And third, to borrow from a great philosopher, Yogi Berra, the future isn't what it used to be. You guys are in the life-saving business, and I believe you're exceptionally good at it. More than a decade ago, you all looked at data and you imagined a different future. You created the community paramedic program. It was an approach that improved outcomes, it reduced costs, it saved lives, and it's now a model that's admired and copied all over the globe. That history, in my mind, matters again tonight, because I believe the future of emergency response is once again going to look dramatically different from the systems that you all inherited. I believe it's going to start looking more and more like a health response system. The need for cardiac arrest is different than the need for a house fire or a fall or a psychiatric crisis or a large disaster. And the responses are also going to range from the elite firefighters to community paramedics to behavioral health specialists to an integrated regional surge network. And there are new innovations happening pretty much at the speed of thought, like using drones to deliver AEDs before responders can get there. So my ask to you tonight is pretty straightforward. There's only 2 of them. First, I encourage you to triage your needs. You're in the triage business. So I encourage you to triage your needs, identify those facilities that absolutely are in crisis, but then reduce the bond amount to address that specific list of immediate priorities. And then second, do what you do best and what you've done before, innovate. I encourage you to look around the world for inspiration as others have looked to you in the past. There's a lot of countries doing a lot of exciting work in that category of health response systems. So South County Fire, you've shown the courage to lead in the past. Please continue to evolve towards the future of health response systems. It's the top of your the top of the list that is behind you in every one of your meetings, the word leadership. That's what I have to offer tonight. I appreciate the time, and I appreciate you all doing what you do. It's not easy.
Great. Thank you, Mayor Rosen, and thank you for appearing tonight. Ms. Blankenship, is there any other request for public comment on our Zoom platform?
There is no one else.
Okay, and as I usually do, I'll come back to the room for one last time. Is there any request for public comment here in the room? Not seeing any additional requests for public comment. Thank you. We will move forward in the agenda to item number 7, which is the Fire Chief's report. Good evening, Chief Maxwell.
Thank you, Chair and Board. I have 3 items for you tonight. The first one, as you can see up there, we've kind of gotten out of the business of saving cats from trees, but occasionally we have to save humans, and that is what we did this last week. We had a 12-year-old girl who was a good climber going up, but getting down, it wasn't going to work out so well. So as you can see, we did a little bit of life saving and got this girl out of the tree, and she was a little shaken up, but she was just fine. So that was kind of one of the unique things. We graduated 2 of our firefighters, Alexander, and I hope I don't hurt the last name, McLaury, and Brent Counselor graduated from the rigorous fire academy. So we'll have 2 more firefighters coming into our ranks. And we are in the process of getting many ready to go to the fall academy. So those are the 2 main things. The other thing I don't have a picture for, but I did want to mention because it's interesting and it has to do with our community paramedic program. There was a cardiac arrest near one of our community paramedics that was out doing home visits. And so the community paramedic responded, was the first one on scene, led the cardiac arrest. They actually got pulses back and took the person to the hospital. And so, that just shows the value of having people out in the community. And there's actually, it's kind of a dated study now, but it came out of Australia, and they found communities that had community paramedics actually had higher cardiac arrest survival rates. And that is because the isolated and the elderly were reconnected with their communities. So there's a lot of other unintended consequences that make the community better, healthier, and we save more lives through these programs beyond just the community health. And that is what I have for you tonight. Thanks.
Are there questions from the board members for Chief Maxwell on the chief's report? Commissioner Chan, go ahead.
Yeah, this is interesting. So where did they go to? It's a school or something they go to, or your own individual training?
Oh, the firefighters?
Yeah.
Yeah. So up in, we have a county fire training academy, and it's a regional academy. We work with them and fire departments from all over the county. We send people up there.
But this is only 2 people too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We hope to send significantly more in the fall, and then we'll talk about this at the workshop, but we're looking at, well, actually, I've already brought it up to you. We're looking at maybe we host our own academy here and the academy up to the north, because we need more spots. And that's why we left the state academy, because we've just grown too big. They can't handle us anymore.
Yeah. No, the reason I'm asking that, I just saw Briar, the police he graduated from regular school or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he became a chief. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Because I know Washington DC has one similar to that, right?
That's a National Fire Academy.
National Fire Academy,
That's executive leadership.
Right.
Yep.
That's executive. So I assume the one that Briar must be a executive for police.
Yeah, it's probably something similar. And we,
Yeah, it's not for the rookies or anything. Yeah.
right. We send people back to the National Fire Academy. We
Right.
send people from here, and the federal government pays for everything except the meal ticket.
No, I thought that's great if you can, some assistant chief or other chief that we want to get, total
Yeah,
academy.
and Yeah, so the federal government pays for the travel and the lodging, and like I said, we pay for the meal ticket. So anyone who applies, we approve everyone who wants to go and get that executive leadership.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Any other questions for the chief on the chief's report? Any other questions? No? Great. Thank you, chief.
Thank you.
All right, that moves us forward then to the union report from Local 1828. I think we have Keith Bean, treasurer from Local 1828. Good evening.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, Commissioners. Don't have any major reporting today. Just have a couple events going on this week. We have annually this IFF 7th District does a new members conference over east of the mountains. So we have a few members who were born either after 1996 or less than 5 years as a professional firefighter over there, learning about the history of the IFF, history of the U.S. Fire Service, and a little bit about what it means to be or a part of something or having a little bit of democracy in the workplace. And then also Chief Baxwell just showed our newest members. We're sitting down with them tomorrow to have our Post Academy benefits talks, kind of take them through a deep dive of all the benefits we enjoy here at South County Fire and set them up for the future. And that's all I have to report.
Great, thank you. Is there any questions from board members? Commissioner Lawrence?
Yes, Keith, you're a treasurer and you must know about money. And so, we're having some pushback on the bond issue. And could the union float us a loan?
I'm afraid we're not that flush, Commissioner, unfortunately.
Okay, all right. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Treasurer Bean?
Can't beat that.
Okay. All right. Thank you for talking with us tonight. All right. That was the union report. That moves us forward in the agenda to item number 9, which is capital facilities planning, starting with the bond resolution for potential adoption. And let me turn it over to the chief. Chief, would you kind of like summarize where we are in the process?
Yes, thank you, Chair. We have been on this journey for over a decade. Me being here for 30 years, I've been through many iterations of standards of cover, looking at our response, looking at our need for facilities, and over the last 10 years, we've developed the capital facilities plan. And then in the fall, the board decided to move forward with looking at a bond, and we developed a communications plan and started, even in December, our initial outreach that we were headed this direction. And we've looked at the different financial models, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And we are now coming up on the decision for the board to approve taking it to the voters, or choose to go to the voters or not.
Chief, thank you. And Chief, what is your recommendation? What is the staff recommendation?
The staff recommendation is to move forward. As the fire chief, I'm looking at both our day-to-day operations and operations, continuity of operations, during disaster situations. So the chief's recommendation is to move forward.
Thank you, Chief. Let me just turn it over to the board for discussion and comments generally on the issue. Commissioner Wonkum.
Can you define what you mean by move forward? I just would like a little bit more clarification. Is that like get everything done today, or is that just moving forward in general through the process?
Well, my recommendation is to follow the track and the dates and plans that we've been on, and continue on the path that staff brought to the board. I think it was in February.
Okay.
Other questions, comments generally? Commissioner Lawrence.
Yes, and that is that tonight that we vote to move forward with the bond as we've discussed. Comment, the cities, I don't know when they started mismanaging the money, so it could be not anybody in the current council or mayors. But they haven't been fiscally responsible, just like the state. And what do we get from the state any more than we did before? And we're paying twice as much or more. Mismanagement, where's the money going? But our agency been fiscally prudent, responsible, minding our P's and Q's, being a lean machine. And it's just we know what we need. The staff knows what we need. Most of the board was convinced a while ago that this is what we need. So to basically, who are our constituents? Our constituents aren't the mayors and the council people and the few in the public that are sour grapes about it and have their opinions about what we should do. Our constituents are the people that get the service. And if we let them know what it costs to provide the service we do and have done, and how we're a fiscally responsible organization, unlike the cities and the state, that they'll approve the measure. So I would hope that all the board members get back to where they were thinking about this and vote to approve it as requested.
Other discussion or questions generally on the issue? Commissioner Walkerman.
Yeah, thank you. And I appreciate this. This has been a very hard topic for me over the last week. With the conversations that I've been having with the community, with the constituents that are receiving the benefits, that are making the calls, from those that have money to those that are extremely vulnerable in the spectrum within. I just want to state that, first and foremost, I support fixing these stations. I have no doubt the need, which is really documented. It's real and it's urgent. I also have a request, is us considering a delay to June 9th. And the reason is not, because I want to discuss the metrics of, or the merit of this conversation. The need is real. Station 23 literally just had a sink that got closed down because of the iron that is being in the water. That's a station that our service members, our first responders are living in. At the same time, this request, it can't just be one-sided where we're just looking at that need. We have to look at the need of the community. We have to understand that this cost is going to impact people. It's a 20-year decision. This isn't something where we get, 5 years into it and say, hey, or maybe we can, but the reality is that we are living in uncertain times. We are living in challenging times. We are living in a time where our gas budget literally just doubled, it seems like. I know it did for my home. I know I'm the one that opens up the bills concerned about how am I going to afford that? I'm the one who's, on that brink of an edge. I'm not in the middle. I wish I was. But it costs so much to live in this community that every single decision that we make, I hope we do it with our eyes open. Now, yes, I'm new on this board. I wasn't part of the conversations. I didn't have the 10 years of development in this. I'm coming into this last minute is what I would consider. But still, I want to hear the people because they deserve to have their voice heard. You might have heard it. You might have gone through this. This was developed during a time, well, I would say that it was probably a little bit more prosperous in the 2015, 2017, 2019. That's not today. And so I am asking that we take a step, we take a breath. This doesn't have to be decided until July 7th. June 9th is in the middle. I'm not saying take all that time, but I am saying let's take a deep breath. Let's look at the reality that we're living in. Let's hear from our constituents. Let's have the meetings. Even if it's one where I mean, I get it. There's 330,000 people in this ecosystem. And we're working for the majority, but it's still important to hear those that the minority, it's the principle of do you sacrifice the 10 to save the 90? And that's been the hardest challenge for me because the vulnerable populations I've been walking with for the last 2 years are those 10. And so I am asking, and I would like to put before the board the desire to table this vote until June 9th and have the conversation with each city, with members within the city, because the last thing I want to do is to make a decision without including the cities, like might have occurred in the not too recent past. So that's kind of where I stand. I just want to restate these buildings have to be improved. Station 23 hurts me. How can people who are risking everything for our community live in something like that? Station 14, yeah.
Yeah, I assume you can just motion to our presentation only, right? To until June 7th. It doesn't, it was discussion. I would second the motion. A couple of reasons is that.
Is there a motion? I didn't hear a motion.
Yeah.
I would like to make a motion to tabling it till June 9th.
I would second that motion.
I know.
If I may speak on the motion.
Hold on just a minute.
Yeah.
Point of order.
Yes,
The-
point
the
of order,
correct-
Commissioner Rowland.
The correct motion in this case is a motion to postpone indefinitely. Motioning
No.
to table only tables it till later in the meeting.
Oh,
Well, the
Just to get it correctly on the record.
okay.
Motion to delay to June 9th.
It would be motion to postpone indefinitely.
I don't like.
Indefinitely just means till the next meeting. It's the Robert's Rules of Order term.
Okay.
Well, postpone to June 9th.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And second by Commissioner Chan. So it's been moved and seconded to postpone the issue to the June 9 meeting. So discussion on the motion.
Yeah.
Maker of the motion, Commissioner Winkelmann, do you want to have any more discussion on that?
Nope.
Commissioner Chan, then Commissioner Fernhoff, and then Commissioner Rowland.
Um,
Commissioner Chan.
Yeah, I think all this time, we were just listening to the presentations of the motion, but we never really have a deep, extensive discussions with the board. And I think today is a very good example that the gentleman here, can you tell me your name again?
Roger. Mr. Pence. Roger.
Oh, Mr. Pence, yeah. He made a really good saying that because from November until 4th, we did not give them any information at all until the 2 weeks ago when you're presenting the whole plans and everything else, right? So, and then I also, while I suggest that when I get back in January, we should contact all the other cities and so we did cover all the city. Just talk to the elected official because we treasure their opinion. I think they just, many of them don't even know that we had that. So it's kind of shock to them. And also that we'll have a meeting with the Edmonds Council, and then they also have some concern. I think our respect, and that's why Mayor Rosen was recommended that, we have a more clear. I think they had many issues they talk about. I don't think we explained them to really well. And I say, Mr. Pence said that he's just not getting enough information and convincing, and he may even change. I heard you said you would volunteer if you get more answer and kind of promoting the program, right? So I think on June, on the retreat, on June 8th, we have a retreat, right? So I think we get more time really discussing how do we present the program. And I think that's our respect. And many, when we talk to other council members, many of them do have concern because they haven't heard about it, but we're explaining briefly about what the program is. So because we're living in a very 5 city, each one will have affecting the other one. So I think we will have a much more better presentation or the program come out. We'll make a decision on June 9th. Thank you.
Let's see, Commissioner Fernhoff, then Commissioner Rowland. Commissioner Fernhoff.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to echo what our esteemed mayor from Edmonds talked about. We're really good at triage. And I know that I've spoken with staff over the last 30 days, maybe even longer than that, about options. And I think it's really important that every commissioner here, whether you vote for it, against it, you abstain, you do whatever, at least you have all of the options. And I encourage what Commissioner Chan has said in taking our workshop on the 8th for that opportunity to have a dialogue, a meaningful dialogue, and explore those options. This is not a negative reflection on staff, our communications director, or anyone in this room. In fact, we all stand behind the notion of replacing our fire stations and keeping our firefighters safe. However, we're in unusual times, as Commissioner Wonkelman has said. When the plan was conceived, it was a different era. 10 years ago is a long time. Even 2 years under Chief Eastman, the conversation was different. A can of chili wasn't $5 on the shelf. Gas wasn't over $7 for diesel. We weren't at war with another country and consuming lots of resources nationally. So the landscape has changed. That we owe, at least in my opinion, we owe the conversation to make sure that each commissioner here is well informed about the options before you're asked to make a vote. So that's my only comment.
Thank you. Commissioner Rowland, go ahead. And then Commissioner Wittes. Commissioner Rowland.
I don't oppose waiting since we have time. I always think it's a good idea to get input. I do also realize that this is a need that is not going to go away, and that you know, I've heard it is true. Nobody knew that we were going to be where we're at today 2 years ago, 5 years ago. The last time this came up before the board, we had record low interest rates at around 4% back when COVID hit. Wasn't the time then because there's uncertainty. It's not the time now because there's uncertainty. There is certainty around two things. Number one is we know that the work needs to be done for the public safety, for the investment in the buildings that house the equipment and the people that our communities rely on. So that's not going to change. The question is whether delaying has a monetary impact, or if there's even a chance that we would say, no, we're not going to go to the voters. We're not going to give them the option. We're just going to wait. I don't think that that's a wise course. I think put it before them. I understand the economic uncertainty right now. Let them make the decision, trust in their decision, follow their decision, and then, work forward from that. And I think that's the path that we're going to probably take, regardless of a wait or not. If some, brilliant idea comes up in the next few weeks, I'm all ears. I'm ready to hear alternative plans. But, we have a community that's growing. We have the need for new stations. We have the need for, fixing stations that are 50 years old. We have the need for making sure that these stations are standing when the earthquake comes. So I'll go with the board in whatever way they want to go. But I think we should be clear with our constituents and clear with our stakeholders and fellow electeds that, this is not something that we can continue to put off year after year. Every time we do it, we're rolling the dice. And it's hundreds, if not thousands of lives that would be at stake in the event of an earthquake. So that's my thoughts.
Thank you. Commissioner Wittes, you're next. Go ahead.
Thank you. One of the problems I think we have is the process that we face with this. Generally, we have to do the motion and then the staff can really put it together, give it to the bond council, get everything together. And I have no problem in the delay, but the staff's kind of in turmoil, trying to get it all down exact without the board saying that's exactly what it is. So I just hope that the delay doesn't slow that down. We really need to come up, and that's a couple items down the agenda, what it's going to cost, the families, what it's going to cost for a house. And as long as we're going further with that, I'm all okay with waiting.
Thank you, Commissioner Wittes. Commissioner Welkeman.
Can I get clarification on what was just asked? Because that is critical. I don't want to put us into a position where we are causing more harm than good with the wait.
I think staff is prepared to follow the direction of the board, whichever way you choose. I think it's really important to bring clarity to this issue with our community. And so when we do communicate, we need to be sure of the direction that we're headed in. And I think that is really the most important thing.
Okay. And clarity is critical. And when you stated with that clarity, can you kind of explain, and I know we've had conversations, how can we give the community the clearest message possible?
Well, I think once the board makes a decision, that will give us the clarity. I mean,
Okay.
While we're waiting, we are in a little bit of limbo with the direction we're going.
And with the wait, the limbo is the interest rate?
The limbo is the board's intent.
Okay.
A lot of things could change before the board makes a final decision. So once the board makes a final decision, we'll have the clarity we need to move forward.
Okay. So if we were to wait, and I'm just asking, honestly, just trying to get clarification for myself.
Yeah.
If we were to delay till June 9th, would we still be able to gain clarity on other options, on other, gain clarity on the community's intent? Would that also add to this conversation, do you feel?
Well, I guess I don't know if I would be the right person to answer about the options.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think and Christy was going to bring the options to have clarity on the exact direction we're going, because the staff is waiting for that green light to have a clear and concise plan to share with the constituents of the board's direction. And we don't feel like we can move on that until you've made your final decision.
Okay. I guess the challenge I'm having is I only really know of one plan, the one that has been dialed out. Is there any conversations in that, or is it basically that one?
It is that plan, but if you're to choose not to do the plan, we don't want to get out in front of the board.
Okay.
I think I had Commissioner Rowland, then Commissioner Chan. Commissioner Rowland, go ahead.
I guess as I'm thinking about it, the only reason I think that myself or other board members should vote to postpone this is if we think that there's a chance that we will change our minds, or that if we say yes now and go to the community stakeholders to explain our position, that would be bad for the good that we're trying to accomplish. Otherwise, we are setting our staff back weeks, and every week counts when it comes to crafting and communicating to the public once the decision's been made. So I personally would prefer just to move forward tonight, because I don't think that there's a very high chance of anything substantive coming along in the next 2 weeks that would change our direction. And if so, we can pivot if we need to. But I'd prefer just to get it done so that we can just start moving in the right direction.
Thank you, Commissioner Rowland. Commissioner Chan.
I think we talked too much on the motion. The motion basically delaying 2 weeks. So even among our commissioner have a good discussion. And we just heard the request from our mayor, from Rosen's consideration. I'm not going to say vote no, but I'm just right now, we are not among ourselves. We don't have a good conversation. And how should we, I'm just talking 2 weeks of of delay. We're not talking about long delay. And we'll come up with decisions on June 9th because we never have a very good discussion among ourselves, our understanding. So just focus on the 2 weeks and rather than all the other things, which Commissioner Rowland already said that originally he was going to indefinitely. So actually this is even better, is have a fixed date on that. Okay. But if you want to force it to vote today, my vote will be no, because I'm not all recognized. You have a question? No, you make a noise in there. I just thought you might want to, at least out of courtesy, and that's Mayor Rosen have said that, just, let's just rethinking a little bit how we might want to be no different way to present it to the public. We are not unifying here to how do we approach the public and all that. So I think on the retreat on the 8th, we have a good discussion, a long time discussions in that too. And that's the reason my finance committee is going to have some questions about the other option too. So focus on just 2 weeks. Because next week is Memorial Weekend, right? Or at the end of the week. I mean, and then right after that, 2 weeks would not, it would not destroy us, but it give us more organized, a consensus from the commissioners.
Thank you, Commissioner Chan. Commissioner Rowland, you still have your hand up. Did you want to speak again?
No, sorry.
Oh, okay. Other discussion on the motion to postpone? Commissioner Fernhoff.
Thank you, sir. Question for our communications director in chief. What you've heard tonight is that the commissioners are seeking options. So if we hit the pivot button, right, we change the scope of work, so to speak, like the framework by which we're moving forward. What does that do to you? Can you do it? Or does that kind of throw a monkey wrench into the whole works and suddenly we're talking about different things and, will Christie kill me?
I mean, to create something new in 2 weeks would.
So something new would be like redesigning a building from scratch. What we're talking about is scaling back, most likely. That doesn't, to me, sound like an engineering feat. A consultant coming in and telling us which stations or this or that. We know what the vulnerabilities are. So the question is, and I think that's the sense I'm getting here, is that there's not another option on the table. We don't come up with the option. We're presented with the options. So that's kind of where I see the space being right now. And if you tell us here and now that pivoting, coming up with another option is going to be an impossibility, it sort of formulates in our minds, okay, maybe this isn't an option and this is all we have to work with. So please be transparent with us enough to be able to say, this is kind of what we got and this is what we're going to go with. You either get on the bus or you don't.
Yeah, I mean, we've spent 10 years and a tremendous amount of work on this plan. So what you're asking, I think, would be a pretty complex lift to do it in a sophisticated and professional manner.
So 2 weeks may not buy us anything. So at the end of 2 weeks, even though we have public comment, even though we've talked to our communications director, who's kind of sitting there like going, what are you doing to me? I just want to make sure that we're using the best effort moving forward, that if we do propose to postpone, that it actually has a valid outcome, at the end of the day. But if we're sort of locked in, right? Perpetual motion, 2 years, we have the framework by which we have to file, get things to the county. And if we're not willing to change what's in the resolution, which we have a draft in our packet tonight, then it kind of boxes us in, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're referring to is kind of decision momentum. We're on this momentum and we want to keep on that momentum. And while I acknowledge and recognize that the capital facilities plan is a tremendous document with a lot of research that went into it, and to triage and recraft that in 2 weeks, I don't know as I want to bring to the board something that's defendable, and I don't know if I could create something with that amount of research and defend it in front of the board in 2 weeks.
Thank you, sir.
I wanted to chime in and say that I'm in favor of the plan as is. Well, I looked at some notes earlier this week, or I guess over the weekend, in preparation for tonight. And I've been actively working on this since 2015. So I've been on the capital facilities plan. I don't know about the whole time since then, but most of the time. And it is a complex plan that addresses the future needs for our fire service, to provide for our firefighters, adequate facilities for our firefighters to provide the important service that they provide to the community. And the reality is that buildings decline, and also that our service needs increase and the population's increasing. And that's why we have infill stations. We need renovations. The fact that we have all of these buildings, you have to maintain them. And, you know, I guess the question is, our current plan is to handle all of these things over a 10-year period of time, not over a 1-year period of time. It'll take 10 years for that to play out. And we have been actively talking about this for years. We have been very actively talking about it since the fall, and when we decided in December to move forward. So I disagree with the comment that we haven't had an adequate discussion. We've had a lot of discussions. In fact, we've talked about this every month, if not almost every meeting this year. So we've had lots of conversation. I'm not sure that more conversation gets us anywhere. And I'm wondering kind of what the driver is for that. What I'm kind of hearing between the cracks is this is a time then to cut the plan down from board members. And I'm not in favor of that. I think we need to ask the voters what we need. And this doesn't make the voters, this doesn't make it happen. This doesn't impose anything. It's asking the voters. And I'm good with asking the bosses. They are our bosses. And if the bosses say no, we'll regroup. If the bosses say yes, that's great. We've gone, in the past, we had more of a plan of levy lid lifts in the more distant past, EMS, fire levy, alternating years. And I was very pleased with that kind of process, because we were going to the voters every year, and any year that the voters say no, then I know what my bosses are saying. So I'm happy going to the voters, and if they say no, great. If they say yes, great. Either way, but they get to decide. But I think that we have some timing limitations. I sent out to the board last night a timeline from October regarding some of the limitations we have in the next 5 years, where we need to do an EMS levy renewal, levy lid lift. Post-presidential primary in 2029, we won't validate, so you can't go to the ballot. And then we have our fire levy lid lift in 2030 or so. So it's not like you can just put it off and go to any year. We picked this year because it's a good year to go. There's no competing things in our future. And sometimes we just got to take the plunge. And I agree with Commissioner Rowland that these things are needed. As chair, I want to try and facilitate as large a majority on such an important issue as I can. And so to that end, I do think that the delay that's asked for by 3 commissioners is reasonable. The 3 weeks does impact our plan and timing. I'm not sure that there's time in 3 weeks to re-engineer the plan. I'm not quite sure what the idea is. We want plan B and we're going to have a great discussion. That's all going to happen in 3 weeks. But I can't disagree with more conversation. I do feel like we've had a lot of conversation, but I can't disagree with some more. We do need to bring this issue to fruition. June 9 is it's a workshop, so we'll need to elevate it to a special meeting. So we're on the record, but I'm not quite sure what all is going to happen in that period of time, but if it creates a larger majority for a particular result, and I'm not sure what that result is, that's a good thing, because I feel right now it would be split. Maybe it could be a larger majority one direction or the other with the delay that the three commissioners are requesting. So I think that is probably our best route to go as a board, to try and develop the most consensus. Not that we don't have to have complete consensus. It doesn't have to be unanimous. This is a democracy. Majority wins, but on this important of an issue, a larger majority is probably a little better than a smaller majority. It's kind of my thought on that. Okay, I've said enough. Commissioner Rowland.
I would just ask members of the public and fellow electeds that may have concerns with this. Look at the plan, read it, tell us what you think we should cut, tell us what you think we should change. Give us actual feedback about what you think a viable plan going forward would be, given the limitations in play regarding the years we can bring this and the vote counts and all the fun stuff that we've already gone over. Come to us with ideas. That's the only way that this is going to change. If you don't think it's ready, is if we have better ideas. So bring them forward.
Okay, Commissioner Walker.
I heard that. Just one thing that I would appreciate, and I can't change the past, is I would appreciate a plan A, a plan B, and plan C. When we're going into operations, and I know people, I like to refer back to the military, but with that being said, is when we're going into operations, we have a plan A, we have a plan B, and we have a plan C. And we don't know what the environment's going to be when we get to that moment of the operation, but at the same time, we have options. And that's how we're able to effectively adapt to the ecosystem that we're in. And so, again, I can't change the past, but I'm hoping that this is a concept and an idea that we take forward, because I don't know what the future holds, but I want to have options. So when I get there, I can make the best choice with what we have. So thank you.
Other discussion on the motion, Commissioner Chang.
My planning wasn't really, I cannot predict. I'm not predicting what will happen, not happen on the discussion. So but my focus is how do we able to focus what our really message is. And since we got the reaction from just last week, okay, literally, I'm glad we got the reaction from Mayor Rosen and other thing. And I think we should owe everybody a little discussion. I'm not going to, I don't think we can hear predicting what the end result is when we have the meeting, the whole day meeting there. Actually, if you don't mind, can I ask, we have an attorney in here for plan, can I ask a quick question?
No,
Yeah.
we're on the discussion related to this motion.
Okay,
It's
then
gotta
she-
be on this motion.
okay,
She's
then-
going to stay on. You can ask a question in a minute.
Yeah, because that our
Let's stay on this
finance,
motion.
because the problem is that originally I thought we can get her before I make the decision, but she was not available, only on Thursday, but I'll get something. So anyway, I'm focusing on just our presentation, our agreement, how to communicate with the public. Okay, with our other elected official, which Commissioner Rowan, it's very good. We may go back to them and what other things that they like to see in at whatever meeting it is. But I remain that 2 weeks does not really kill the decision.
Any other discussion on the motion to postpone to June 9, the June 9 meeting? Any other discussion? If not, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Wait.
What are we voting?
This is the motion to postpone
Yeah.
to June 9. If
Okay.
you vote in favor, it's postponed to June 9. If you vote against, it remains on the table for discussion tonight, the bond issue.
Okay.
So a yes vote postpones to this issue, the bond vote to June 9. So if you vote, so all in favor of postponing to June 9, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So, and all opposed? And so the motion, Commissioner Rowland, how did you vote?
Having trouble with the phone. I'll abstain.
So the motion passes on a 5-1-1 vote with Commissioner Lawrence voting no and Commissioner Rowland abstaining. So we will have the issue for vote on June 9. However, we do have 2 meetings before then. We will generally have the issue on likely both. So there are opportunities to discuss and have some information or otherwise engage the issue, but just not a vote regarding the bond until June 9. And June 9, I will elevate to a special meeting because we'll need to be on the record for that meeting on this issue. Okay, so. All right. We have 9B, which is the financing plan, and Director Veely, do you want to talk a little bit about that? We won't take action on that. We'll track that with the bond issue, but can you just remind the board of like this? It's a second issue related to the bond vote that if it's an affirmative vote, the board will also need to decide this issue. Can you go with that? And then we can talk a little bit. Commissioner Chan, you can ask Ms. Gregory your question. That's part of that issue. Go ahead.
Yes, and I appreciate your grace as I try to reiterate what CFO Bothwell has previously shared with you all. So we have presented draft schedules of what the property owner impact would look like under different financial scenarios of paying off the bonds. Should we move forward with the $420 million measure? So we had about 6 options, and those were whittled down to 2 scenarios, both at a 20-year debt service. The reason was that timeline offers the biggest reduction in interest costs to taxpayers over time. And so there were 2 plans that were presented to you all before. This is the all-level property owner impact and the level levy property owner impact. And you have those in your packet tonight. Staff recommends the all-level plan because the impact to taxpayers over time would create the least interest and it would reduce over time. So the largest amount is paid in the first year of repayment, and then over time that amount reduces. The overall impact to the average homeowner in South County Fire Service area, which is about $700,000 home, would be about $190 a year or $16 a month under that plan. And that would, again, reduce over time. So the other plan is the level levy. And so the biggest difference is that the levy rate would remain the same each year, but in essence, the total amount paid by the homeowner would increase over time. So a little bit different of a philosophy. There's more interest with that plan. And again, the impact to the homeowner grows over time. So staff does recommend the all-level repayment plan over 20 years versus 25 to reduce the overall interest. So we would be very interested in the board's vote of approval on one plan or the other so that we are clear on how we can communicate that to our community.
Any questions from the board on that particular issue before we talk to Ms. Gregory? Just on that?
Actually, I'm just that for that.
Yeah, that issue. Okay. Commissioner Chan, go ahead.
Yeah, can we also give example of $750,000 or even $1 million so that?
Oh, certainly. And that is in your packet. You have a variety of examples from $500,000 property value all the way up to $1 million. I shared $700,000 because that is the average property value in the RFA.
Yeah, I think on the one that are given to us wasn't that clear. If that would be make it more clear, it would be great. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the board members for Director Veely? Okay, let's turn over to on this issue generally over to Ms. Gregory and Commissioner Chandy, do you have a question for her?
No,
on-
I
on
think,
council?
I think we will wait until with a committee meeting, some of those certain things, it would take a much longer time. But I'm looking forward for the HR committee meeting. All right, great, thank you.
Anybody else? Ms. Gregory, thank you for being on the call tonight. And did anybody have, I'm sorry, Commissioner Wittes, did you have a question for Ms. Gregory?
Just a comment, what I was getting at with the process, so we're aware of it. By delaying it, she's got two different plans there. We can't even go to the public with those, and that's one of the problems we have is trying to get it out to the public. And without us taking a step as a board member to pass it, it just delays that. That's all I'm just referring to. Thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Gregory, thanks for being with us tonight. Did you have anything that you want to chime in on regarding the issue tonight?
No, thank you. I just wanted to be here for questions.
Sounds good. And any questions from Ms. Gregory from the board members? Commissioner Wittes, you still have your hand up. Did you have another question? No? Okay, good. All right. Ms. Gregory, thank you for being here tonight.
Of course.
All right, that was item 9B, and that moves us forward in the agenda then to item 10, which is unfinished business. And we start with 10A, which is current and future IT staffing needs with our IT manager, Chris Groneveld. Good evening.
Good evening. Just kind of circling back with the conversation that was had last week regarding IT needs, went through kind of a plan of our current load and what we're working on and what we're working with. Just coming back tonight to hopefully ask the board for authorization to bring on one more full-time employee in the IT department under the junior system administrator position. Again, just a reminder that for the remainder of 2026, we will not need any kind of budget amendment with the savings in the, professional services time, consulting time, and some additional savings that was in product consolidation as well. Happy to answer any other questions, but that is what we are looking for action tonight.
Chief Maxwell, did you have a comment for the board about, obviously there were lots of comments from the board generally about the IT department and needs. Did you have any feedback for the board regarding that and plan forward involving tonight and into the fall?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, we appreciate the board's tremendous support as we look to fill out some of these divisions so that we're properly scaled for the organization. But we're looking for what we need just right now, and we're just looking to fulfill Chris's request right now. And then we're going to talk at the workshop, and then in the fall, we're going to look at all the positions and all the organizational needs as a whole so that the board can see it in totality to make a decision by seeing all the puzzle pieces together at one time. So really, we're just coming with a request for what Chris outlined tonight.
Other questions from the board members generally? Yes, Commissioner Fernhoff.
Just a comment. I think this is important and that we should consider it.
Other questions or comments from the board members? I'll move that we approve the immediate hiring of a junior systems administrator. Does that get the job done, Chief?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
That's the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Wankelman. So moved and seconded to add a junior systems administrator. Is there discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? If not, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Awesome. Thank you. And
Great.
definitely be back to talk more about future needs as well. Sorry.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you very much. It really helps our IT department.
Okay, up next is we're back to redistricting, and two items related to redistricting. One, you had an opportunity to see that, I believe it's called map 3, the fourth map with the 7 districted positions. So now that you've had a week to reflect on it, if there's thoughts about you see the maps here around us. in the room. You can't see it here on Zoom, but we have the 4 maps blown up on the wall. 1A, 1A, 1, 2, and 3. 3 being the 7. I think that's 7 districts. So any comments on that? But the second issue that I wanted to talk about was process. And that is, do we want, what process would the board like regarding the issue going forward? And I have a couple of suggestions, but I want to start with first the maps and thoughts about the maps. Commissioner Lawrence, thank you, Commissioner Fernhoff.
Other than the 7 districts idea, I don't think gets me too excited. I would like to just keep status quo. Thank you.
Commissioner Fernhoff.
I just wanted to mention that if whatever district you choose, if I could still remain a commissioner later, that would be nice. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other on the map? Commissioner Wankelman.
I also agree. I'm not a big fan of the 7 districts.
All right. Board Liaison Morris, go ahead.
Yeah, I would agree with the not the biggest fan of the 7 districts, and then the preferred map would be Plan 2 from Edmund's perspective.
Great, thank you. Sorry, Commissioner Chan.
I agree. Both gentlemen just spoke in front before me. No 7 districts.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about process and what the desire of the board is for process. And I'll just give you my suggestion to maybe guide some thoughts. And that is, we've spent some time since February and March with our consultant and the maps over a number of weeks to kind of get us all to a place to understand the redistricting process, the different maps, the issue of the population and the equivalent population, and address other questions regarding the redistricting. In terms of we're doing this because of the annexation of Edmonds into South County Fire last year. So we have to do it before the next election. And one of the things, at least we talked about and I talked about, was doing it in a timely fashion, shall we say, in 2026. And so I feel like we're at a point where the board is up to speed on the issues and has looked at the maps. I'd kind of like to take advantage of that momentum and drive forward on the issue, looking for a possible resolution maybe in July, first part of August, with some outreach to Edmonds. I'm thinking about an open house in Edmonds, maybe late June. Talk to Director Veely about staff's ability to put something like that together. We would need some commissioner involvement, but do an open house where we invite the community, particularly the Edmonds community, to come in and look at the 4 maps, look at some of the data graphs regarding them in terms of population, and take comments and be available to see what people think. I don't know, a couple hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours on a time that's not during the regular business day, but in the early evening or maybe even on a Saturday. But do that at one of our fire stations, perhaps, and do at least an open house. And then I'm not sure what else. Haven't talked more completely with Director Veely about like taking more input, like more actively receiving it. So I'm sure we can do some more there. But to have an additional level of outreach regarding the maps and what the preference is, and making sure that we have taken that, considered that before we come to a final decision. But an alternative is we could set the issue off to after the November election, take it up in December. But my fear, as I hear the groan from the right-hand side, my fear is that we'll lose our momentum. We'll be like, what maps? What was map number 3? And and we'll spend weeks like trying to get back up to speed, where I kind of feel like we're up to speed now. We're at a good place to do some more public outreach, but then we need to bring the issue to resolution. And then I feel like we will meet our, what I feel like is our commitment to timely deal with the issue in 2026. So it's ready for 2027, and anybody who wishes to run for fire commissioner in 2027 knows what the lines are, and we also get our materials to the county so they can incorporate it into their election department. So that's kind of my thought on process. I did want to give you an alternative. We could do December, which probably rolls into January and early February. That's another alternative. Maybe there are other alternatives, but I kind of wanted to have a discussion around process and what the flavor of the board was. Commissioner Lawrence, then Commissioner Wonkelman. Commissioner Lawrence.
Just the timing, the sooner the better, before we forget everything and have to start all over. Christie, how quickly could you get something on the map there? And get a station and make all the announcements.
I think it's reasonable to have something late June, and perhaps that last week of June, we don't have a board meeting, and we could consider possibly having a public comment period dedicated to redistricting at another board meeting after that, just to open it up so that we're looking even beyond Edmonds and making sure, all of our residents have the opportunity to weigh in. That would be my thought, but I certainly think that is doable for the last week of June.
Thank you.
Commissioner Walker.
Yep. I just want to say I also agree with the comments that you made. I really appreciated the bringing the community in statement, and I would love to do it at a fire station like 14. For reasons, but no, I fully support what you said. Thank you.
Other Commissioner Chan.
I think we really need to start communicate to the public as quick as possible, but then also they know, I assume that each commissioner that responds for that district will be there, right?
For the open house?
Yeah,
No.
for the map.
No, there would be no requirement that you be there. I
Right.
am hopeful a
Yes.
few commissioners will attend and, chat with folks about the maps and,
Other
but you
issues
don't
that
have to, in the sense that it wouldn't be a board meeting.
Right,
So that's a little less formal.
right.
But we would need commissioners to come and.
Yeah, I think it's,
If commissioners don't come, it will not be good. But you don't have to. That's the
right.
important.
But I think since each district has a commissioner, I think it's good to introduce them to the public. I am your district your districts, right? So that I think it's good to get as much engagement with the public as possible. We invite them. Hopefully you have some kind of a social media, whatever, that getting people opportunity to be aware of it. And right, is that?
Yes, we do typically communicate via social media when we have an event. We also send out a press release and we
Press
find other
release
methods,
and
yes.
that type of thing, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you. That's really good.
Any other thoughts, comments on process? Well, I kind of feel like we've got the consensus around that to move in that direction, and I'll endeavor to make that happen, and we'll have more coming on scheduling, and we can always shift gears if the board wants to, but we'll move in that direction. All right, that sounds good. All right, up next is item 10C, which is organizational roadmap, prevention division, and chief. Yeah, let's go ahead and hit that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I do have Deputy Chief Don Welch here with me tonight as my subject matter expert as we go over this. You guys will see our standard template, what are our threats and challenges, what are the solutions, opportunities, and how's it going to make our future better? And all right, so what are some of the challenges we're facing? I think we all know we're one of the fastest growing areas. The volume of growth, you just have to drive down the road and see it around us. And both the vertical and horizontal growth create a lot of challenges for our fire prevention, doing, plan reviews and inspections and whatnot. And Chief Welch, not to put you on the spot, but can you explain the middle housing legislation, how that impacts demand for your division?
So with the legislation of the middle housing, depend on what city it is. It will depend on how many ADUs or DADUs. So accessory dwellings they can put on. One of the cities is down to actually 4,000 square foot. They can put another unit on their lot. With this legislation is to help the housing crisis that we're having. And some cities actually already have pre-approved plans that builders can go to the city and go, this is the one I want to build. This is the lot. So it's coming. And listening to the perspective of the different cities, they're expecting a lot of growth with this because it's new. It's coming forward to help it. Basically, a lot of the homes, if they're a DADU, they can have a 5-foot spacing between one home to the other home, back lot line side, and it has to only be 15 feet from the road. So it's going to add a demand to our prevention division with plan reviews, and that in the near future, we're already starting to see some of them. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Commissioner Lawrence, go ahead.
These geniuses at the county and the city got a new plan for roads. I
can't answer that.
Yes, the geniuses at the county and the cities gridlock. We're fast approaching almost 8 hours a day gridlock. So it's pathetic. A lot of places no sidewalks. So this is a criticism of the way the county and the cities have been run. No sidewalks, no parks, no place to play anywhere, hardly. The size of the population is kind of pathetic. They're just packing them in. It's, I guess, all they care about is the revenue from the taxes or something like that. So they can create a extreme low quality of living. So there you go. That's just a comment that I just had to get it off my chest. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Commissioner Walker. When you say demand, can you, and I don't need specifics, but can you kind of state roughly what that means? Increased demand, is that 10, 100, 1,000?
It's all going to be dependent on which each city allows to go in. For instance, like Linwood, that's probably going to be our fastest growth, and that's what they're looking at doing is basically allowing more ADUs to be built. And listening to their building officials, it's coming already. They're starting to see them. It's going to be more. And to piggyback on that, the other part of that is the vertical growth. We just had a divisional meeting today in the development of 5/2, so 5 residential over 2, either parking garage or business. We were told there's 2 new ones coming in Linwood, 2 more coming in Edmonds, and there's more in the works. So not only are we going out, we're going up, and all those bring a lot more people, which means a lot more demand for plan reviews, sprinkler reviews, permitted inspections afterwards. So it's just growing our workload.
Right. Thank you.
And Commissioner, we can bring you, I was talking to Chief Welch, we can bring you more of that probably in the fall to bring you numbers such as what are the estimated, permits or plan reviews coming in? What are the average amount of reviews that can be done per DFM and those numbers like that? So Chief Welch is already looking into that.
I would appreciate that. Thank you.
Commissioner Chan has a question.
Yeah. So all I know is, I don't know, each city have probably different rules, right? Okay. So what I heard a while ago in Seattle, because many of the things they think they're gonna light rail and everything else, so they actually reducing the requirement a parking space for each condo. And I heard that Linwood had something similar to that, right? But except a lot of situation, people still parking in the street, which become congestions and also problem. Is that a similar thing?
I don't know what each city requirement for parking spaces are per residential, 5/2 or a residential ADU. Each city has a little bit different. Some are saying that you get
parking spot per new apartment in a complex. Some are down to 3/4. It all depends on where you're at, what municipality you are. With the ADUs, basically you're parking on site. You're building on a current lot that is already there, but the requirement, it's not really clear on, you have to have more parking. Just like you're saying, a lot of them then end up parking on the streets, so that lead to congestion on the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Some cities are gonna allow 2 ADUs on their
Oh.
lots.
Huh.
Commissioner Rowland next. Commissioner Rowland, go ahead.
It is unfortunate that people don't look at human nature when they make these decisions. A house that used to be $800,000 on a 5,000 or 6,000 square foot lot, as soon as this passes, the value of that property goes up. Therefore, the cost of housing goes up. As you add more houses in the area, you are increasing population density, which leads to the issues that we're seeing in the fire service with units being too close to one another and the inability for fire service vehicles and emergency vehicles to get through traffic because we keep adding more pounds to the body that is our cities and our county without adding anything to the infrastructure, the bones that support it. And it is crushing our cities. I understand the need for affordable housing, but all this does is allow more housing that's expensive. It doesn't lower the price of housing. We've seen it over and over and over again. Who this benefits are the people that already own giant lots, the people that own big vacant lots because they can add more and more development properties on it. And it's not going to push these costs down. So I'm sorry, but the city council and the county councils, they need to wake up. And in lieu of that, they need to take into consideration the cost of this when it comes to the time that it takes for us to get to incidences, because now we're going to have double the people in a smaller area with cars lining the streets on each side. It's preposterous. Our arteries are already clogged and we're going for a heart attack. So good luck.
Okay, thank you. I mean, all these comments are quite relevant to the challenges that we've been bringing with the organizational roadmap for all of our growing needs. We're trying to scale fast enough in all of our divisions, including our prevention division. So my next bullet is, we're still growing and structuring the division, and the board has been supportive, but we're still behind the curve in our needs to keep up with plan reviews and inspections. And what that does is it puts strain on the front end where all of our cities and counties are asking for all these reviews. And then there's strain on the back end because we have more and more fire and sprinkler systems that our engines are responding to. So it's it puts strains on both ends of our system, as well as all the reasons you mentioned. We have traffic congestion, so we need more stations, closer configured so we can get to the calls, and then vertical response. So we need a faster show of force on these vertical buildings to stop fire and effect rescues there, as well as different kinds of equipment as we need more ladder trucks. Going down here, there's another complexity that I think the division works really hard at, but we still have different codes in the different cities and counties, so coordinating with the county and working with all the different cities, that adds a layer of complexity rather than just having one code for everything. So that can slow down the work. And then the other thing, in our cities, we're required to have 24-hour investigation coverage, and that's a challenge we keep trying to mold and how we're going to cover and respond to that. We do have some ideas as we get some more staffing in that division. And then existing building inspections. Before COVID, with call demand, with our unit hour utilization, we were able to do some of that with our engine companies. Now we're getting so busy with calls, we're not able to use our engine companies to supplement inspections. And so as the board, I believe, was demonstrated to the board when we decided to take this on, is we are going to also have to add a team of inspectors to keep up with building inspections. So what are our opportunities? Bringing to the needs of that division to continue to scale to match demand. We've had, for the last probably year and a half or 2 years, we've borrowed 2 deputy fire marshals because it can take a year to train them from the ops division. And at the workshop, I'll be bringing to you, asking to memorialize those 2 fire marshals that we have been carrying, because they're clearly needed and we need more. But we've been carrying those as borrowed from ops for about 2 years. So I'll be asking to make those permanent. And we're going to, probably in the fall, we need to start talking sooner than later of inspectors to keep up with the demand to do building inspections. And then we're really doing some good stuff, our division, in building the relationship and creating a partnership with the county. We're doing a lot of the county, they are partially commissioned officers, and you need some of that specialization and commission to do investigations. And so we've actually been building a great relationship with them, helping investigate or teaming up to, I should say, investigating each other's areas in the cities and the counties. So I've been really proud of the division for building that relationship. So in the future, I mean, why are we doing this? Is it creates safety for our community. That's the whole reason building inspections were created probably 100 years ago, to make our buildings safe. And then it's safety for our firefighters. When we go into those buildings, we know what's going on with those buildings. I think either Chief Weigel or Chief Welch were just at a conference, and there is a separate entity doing the plans and inspections, and the firefighters got trapped because there was a door that nobody told, a change in the plan, so there was no escape door, and the firefighters got trapped because there was a different entity doing the plans and configurations than the fire department. I probably did a really bad job with that story, but when they told me the story, it made a great point. But we need to continue to scale to meet the growing workload and support the development of our communities. So, like I said, for 2026, asking to memorialize the 2 deputy fire marshals that have been doing, and they're doing the work for a year and a half or so. And then in 2027, the division will come to you with information to ask for another 2 deputy fire marshals. And we'll get into the details of the plan. These are brief flyover overviews, but they have a plan that would allow us to create that 24 investigator coverage that we're required to do. And so they have a plan that will, with the right amount of staffing, we can have the 24-hour investigator coverage in our cities, for our cities. And then maybe 26 or 28, the division's telling them we need it sooner than later, is to start bringing on an inspector program to do building inspections. So that is the general overview. We'll talk about at the workshop, and then, like I said, we can talk about everything in totality as we move towards the budget, so that the commissioners can see the whole picture of the needs of the organization. But as I'll keep saying, we have done a tremendous job of being a lean organization, but sometimes you get so lean that you're no longer saving money, you're costing money, and you're increasing risk, and you're reducing performance. And anything I bring to this board, we will still remain lean, and we will still have the, all of our consolidations. We will still benefit from scaling and bringing 2 fire districts, 5 cities together. But we need to find some middle ground at this point, and that's the presentations I've been bringing to you. And then we'll bring this back as a package at the workshop, talk about immediate needs, and then we can talk about everything through the budget process as well for 2027. So thank you, and I would take any questions.
Commissioner Lawrence?
Yes. Do we get paid for some of this? how much those positions that we're going to get would out of how many, what would be the percentage that we get paid back for those?
I can't give you the percentage. It's based off of fees for doing plan reviews and permitted inspections in the cities. Don't mark my words on this by any means. I know last year Linwood was right about 500,000 that we got back from Linwood. I don't know the other municipalities what we got back.
Okay.
So we do recover some costs for doing plan reviews, the permitted inspections of new buildings, and that
Yeah.
we do recoup some costs.
Yeah, that maybe it wouldn't take a whole lot of work to figure out what it cost us. Then that might help, the decision. Hey, maybe you could add a few more,
We can get updated numbers from what we've recouped
Yeah.
from the other cities. I just don't have those.
Yeah.
Commissioner Chan?
Yeah, I do have a questions. I assume at any certain period, you have more application. Of course, the city always want to be quick, turnaround and all that stuff. So how do you handle that? Is there going to get someone else helping? And then there was situation be slow and you got really nothing to do. I assume you do inspections and that type of thing.
I will tell you, in all of our cities, there is no lack of work right now. Yes, there's periods that we get more plan reviews in. We all know spring's a great building time, summer's a great building time. But you also have to realize as we build up, those plans become more complex and they take longer to get through the process on that. And then we also currently, because we are so young in this division, we have very limited amount of people that can do plan reviews. So
But do the city give you a time limit?
we have to meet their expectations. Each city is different at what their expectation is. So say they give us an expectation of we'll have the fireside plan review done in 30 days. We have 30 days to complete it. Another city might say 45 days. So we are meeting their expectations.
But isn't that also depending on the plan? You just mentioned some plans are more complicated.
It's priority and who's in what line and that. It's a complicated machine.
Right, but I just want to make sure that you can smooth out, resources and.
Yeah,
and
what will
budget.
help us is if we can continue to build this division and right now get more plan review people, because right now we have 2 that are great plan reviewers, and now we've got some members that have been with us for a year and a half that are just starting to get into the plan reviews. So as we build and mature this division, we'll get better, more proficient.
So can you borrow, I assume your Linwood person will be.
Yeah.
Borrow some harmonic terrace and all that, they can do that.
We all work together.
So you don't have a
Phone a friend.
restriction from the city itself that, okay,
Nope.
it's good, thank you.
Commissioner Walker?
Do we receive anything back from county?
No,
No.
not that I'm aware of.
And county's in charge of prevention, correct?
In the unincorporated Snohomish County area.
Okay, so not for the cities though.
Correct. The cities are ours. That's our work.
Okay,
Mhm.
thank you.
So, Chief, there's 2 things I'm hoping to see when we come back and talk about it at the spring workshop. One, I'd like to have an org chart for the division. Just, I love the visual, helps me think about the relationship of the different people to each other. And the other piece is, you're gonna have to sell me on that 24-hour inspector. I'm just not seeing middle of the night, like they can't wait till the morning, 8:30 in the morning when the day person would come on. I'm sure you've got your reasons, but I'm gonna want you to sell me on.
So that's very fair, Chair. I had to be sold on it too. And so they had to get through me before they got to you guys. But I can see Don wants to say something, but I mean there are some very functional reasons on maintaining like the scene and giving up the scene that Chief Welch can probably articulate better than me.
I will tell you, myself and Chief Weigel have a plan of justification for the 24-hour shift. And it's not just fire investigation. It's way more in depth than what that is. We'll be happy to show it to you when the chief wants to present it. And I think we'll change your mind.
Okay.
There is an issue of time. There's an issue of giving up the scene and not being able to get the scene back for investigations. And there is all the same work that a deputy fire marshal can do, they're going to be working as well. So, and there's other inspections that can be done in the evenings for businesses. So they'll bring back, and I recognize that look, and I will let the prevention division bring back their plan.
But the record reflects I said nothing.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. Other questions on this topic? Okay. Well, we look forward to seeing more at the workshop meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that brings us to our usual mid-meeting break before we move on to item 11, new business. So why don't we take, well, at least 10 minutes, 11, 12 minutes till about 10 to 9. And then we'll come back to item 11A and new business. And with that, without objection, we'll be in a brief recess. All right, we are back on the record for our meeting and picking from our recess and picking up with item 11, new business, 11A, which is the asset inventory report for discussion and potential action. And we have Chief Curtis with us tonight on this. Good evening.
Good evening, Board Chair, Commissioners, staff, and guests. I'll be brief tonight, just bringing you up to speed with a procedural item and request for an accompanied resolution declaring surplus items. Annually, the Logistics Division, along with all other divisions of South County Fire, are required to conduct a inventory audit. And this year, we identified 1,882 assets that exceeded $1,000 individually or are considered small and attractive, with a total value of over $7.5 million. I'm sorry. Is that better? And I'll start over with our logistics central stores staff tracks 1,882 assets that exceed $1,000 individually or are considered small and attractive. Of all those items or those assets, they total over $7.5 million. We were able to locate and account for all but 5 items. Of those 5 items, that's a value of $19,564.59. Per policy, we must deliver this result to the board. And I'd like to also identify that this is a tremendous success for us. We were able to identify all of those items with the exception of one item that was damaged, which was not a surprise because it was damaged in operations. But we were unable to locate 2 SCBAs, a Life Pack AED, and a old generator, which we believe was probably thrown away by accident, but nonetheless, those are a handful of items out of 1,882 in a very complex, busy system. So I'm proud of the staff in logistics and all the divisions that we touched, and ask for the board to consider an accompanying resolution declaring those 5 items valued at $19,564.59 surplus, and that would conclude our annual inventory audit for the logistics division.
Thank you, Chief. Questions for Chief Curtis, Commissioner Chan?
Yeah, I didn't go through or is that include that items are being disclosed in here on page?
Yes, sir. The accompanied resolution number 05192026-11
Okay.
identifies 5 assets in the table, which is attached to the agenda bill with a value of $19,564.59. And as a reminder, we have $7,539,000 $1,893 in assets.
Have you given that to the state auditor? Did they request it?
That is a question that would probably be best situated for CFO Bothwell.
Okay, so no.
It
Yeah,
has been
usually-
reported.
Usually they will be part of it, so I'm glad. So when the exit examination, they probably let us know. So I would say, yeah, we're aware of it.
Yeah, yes, sir. And just for clarity's sake, I do report to CFO Bothwell the results of the audit. And
Right.
I believe that was involved in the last meeting with the auditor. They reported our
Okay.
findings.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other general discussion on this question, or general discussion or questions, general questions on this subject? If not, I think we're ready for action on the resolution. I'll move adoption of Resolution 05192026-11, authorizing the surplus of assets following the annual asset inventory. Is there a second? Commissioner Lawrence. It's been moved and seconded to adopt that resolution. Is there any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion? If not, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously.
Thank you, Commission.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Commissioners. And I'd like to say Chief Curtis and his crew, they do a tremendous job. Our accountability and our performance of our logistics division, all of our facilities, equipment, over 100 vehicles. We've really raised the bar in there, and they do. I don't know how they do such a great job with their staff, but they do a really, really good job. And we have better auditing than we ever have of our inventory. So great job.
Up next, we have item 11B, which is summer staffing plan for paramedics for discussion. Chief Maxwell.
Thank you, Board. Yeah, I have our Assistant Chief of EMS, Joe Hughes, here, who will actually be doing the presentation. I think the board is well aware of the tremendous amount of work we go to hire and staff paramedics. But as I've described before, this is not just an us problem. This is a national problem. You get into other, actually in Europe, I've told the board before, countries steal and recruit paramedics from each other's country. So this is not just us. Our EMS division does a really great job, but we are running into some serious challenges in bringing in paramedics, and we're just basically giving the board. I asked Chief Hughes and Chief Chalfant to come up with a plan to get us through the summer. So with that, I will turn it over to Chief Hughes.
Thank you, Chief Maxwell, for the segue into the quick slide deck here. I got the four assistant chiefs here. We're in Wenatchee attending the Washington State Fire Chiefs Conference and have been watching the meeting from a conference room here in Wenatchee. So let me get the presentation up here and share. All right, can you guys see that there?
Yes.
All right, thank you. So as Chief was talking about, we do have a paramedic staffing challenges right now, and historically coming into the summer, that challenge becomes a bit heavier with vacation times and the vacation calendar being maxed out. So you see here is the summer staffing informational. Right now, the challenges is this is a historical and predictable staffing patterns with the summertime. And so far, we've already experienced some of our challenges when it comes to staffing for our paramedics year to date. And this is even a week old. I think we've had a few mandatory since then. But year to date, we've had over 750 hours of paramedic mandatory overtime. Year to date, we've had 40 different paramedics affected by this. And the challenge with that comes with there's a potential cost to it, that there's double time pay if these folks are mandatoried into a 72-hour shift. And the numbers I was able to get came to about 30% of mandatory overtime shifts have been in the double pay category. And the other risk with this is the risk of potential of a 96-hour shift in lieu of reducing service altogether. One of the other challenges that we're experiencing with this is with our ALS engine companies. Currently, there's 7 in place throughout the RFA. A data run on those has showed that our ALS resources on those engine companies are somewhat underutilized. The data shows that there's greater than 99% of the time, the paramedics are not deploying what we call time critical interventions. Those would be ALS level interventions, including procedures and drugs that are administered to patients. So we're seeing that there's an underutilization of our ALS resources on those engines. So with that, we're looking at how can we find a solution to reduce the mandatory overtime burden to our paramedics. So we've looked at how we can flexibly staff our ALS engines and as needed, in the instance, if there was a mandatory overtime shift, we would look at reducing the status of that engine from an ALS engine to a BLS engine as needed. Again, a majority of our responses from our ALS engines do not use ALS service. The time critical interventions are used less than 1% of the time. So one of the other things that we can do to help with this, though, and still maintain the ALS level of service on those engines, is leverage some language within our collective bargaining agreement, where we do have paramedic or captains that are paramedics, and on a voluntary basis, they can work as the paramedic, the primary paramedic on those engine companies in conjunction with their roles of captain. We can do that to help reduce the mandatory overtime and keep the level of service somewhat the same. So what's this look like in the future for us is, we can have better cost controls and reduction of cost. We enhance our operational efficiency. We keep our employees' work quality high, and it reduces risk. Now, one of the things that kind of got us into this situation is, we've had in the last 2 years, we've had 4 paramedics that had promoted to the captain company officer spot. We have another one that's probably going to get promoted here in the next month or so, and then potentially another one downstream. We've had 3 paramedics retire in the last 6 months. We've had 2 paramedics move into the CRP office, and they don't count as our staffing. But as Chief Maxwell had brought up in his chief report, one of our paramedics that is in the CRP division was able to go out and provide care. So that's a bonus there. And then we have 10 paramedics that are on extended leave or expected leave over the summertime as well. In that same time frame, in that 2 years, we've only been able to intake and fully implement and onboard 4 paramedics. Now, the good news is we have 10 paramedic students that are going to be in the hopper for becoming paramedics. So that will help out in the future, but unfortunately, that doesn't help out right now in the summertime. So that's kind of where we're at with our plan to help with our mandatory burden for our employees and still try to maintain a high level of service that we've become known for. So with that, I would take any questions here.
And if I could just
Chief, go ahead. Yeah.
just to add a little bit, competition is getting fierce for paramedics and firefighters, and that's part of the reason we need to have a more robust HR division to keep up with it. And I will say, I think it's almost unprecedented what we're doing to try and train paramedics. Putting paramedics through school, coordinating with the school, doing the contracts, ride-alongs, all that, it's a lot of work. The EMS division is managing putting our paramedics through 3 different schools. We put people through Harborview, Central Washington, and Boston. That is a tremendous amount of workload compared to just hiring paramedics and getting them in. So they're doing everything they can to get paramedics and train paramedics.
Commissioner Lawrence.
Is there any requirement, once we train them, how long they need to stay with us?
Yeah, I think the contract says 5 years. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Or they got to pay it all back, the expenses?
I think it's prorated.
Prorated, sure. Oh, very good. Okay.
We haven't had that happen yet.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Walker.
Appreciate the presentation. You went through the numbers kind of quick. If you can just give me total, how many that you've had move, promoted, extended leave? If I could get a total there, compared to, you said you've only had 4 paramedics onboarded in the last, what was that time period?
So Commissioner Walkman, that was in the last 2 years, we've had 4 paramedics promoted to the position of captain, with 2 probable promotions to captain in the next few months. We've had 3 separate service or retire. We've had 2 that had moved into the CRP office. And we have 10 that are on extended leave and or expected leave over the summertime.
So that would be 7, 9, 19 total. And then how many did you have onboarded, brought in to
Yeah, 4 in the last 2 years.
4 in the last years? So
And then
just
we have 10 in school, in various phases of the school right now.
okay. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And the EMS division has done work to, as it used to be very competitive, many people wanted to go to paramedic school, not as many people want to go to paramedic school. So we have to, not only do we do external recruiting, we really have to do internal recruiting now for all of our specialties. And I'm really proud of the EMS division, because going to like Harborview and sometimes Central, it's like going to a year of med school. And a lot of these have young families and they don't want to leave their family for a year. It's really a year. Like when I went, you don't come home for a Christmas break. You go through the whole thing. You are gone for a year. And what they did is they did some research and discovered the Boston program. And the Boston program, you go for 2-week chunks, you go for boot camps, and you do more ride time here, which actually is beneficial to understanding our medications, our protocols, and our culture. So they are doing whatever they can to lower barriers to maintain paramedic staffing.
Commissioner, I think Commissioner Chan had it. Yeah, Commissioner Chan, then Commissioner Walker.
Yeah, I just followed up on that. I think we're gonna be a lot of, I'm reading everybody, from against, our FUD bond, right? Many people, many still don't understand our firefighters as EMT, right? Okay, so they keep on thinking that if you firefighter is just fight fire only. And then we got to explain to them. That's why they have all this question. Well, why do you have a fire truck to that thing? Why, blah, blah. I think we need to clear tell them they are part of the medical. And then I think EMTs still do a lot of basic life, right? Saving.
They actually can do more now than they ever can. They give different medications like Narcan, epinephrine, things that they couldn't do in the past, and it expands all the time. And I'd have to, it looks like Chris, our communications director, with EMS month or week we just had, they did some great stuff on our social media with interviewing our firefighter EMTs and all the care and how much they care about delivering good medical care.
But talk about efficiency. I'm not going to hire someone only do only 15.
Yeah.
No, 15% work, and then the other 85% sitting around just do fire. So that's critical. Now, in the past, when you say summer, in the past we always have someone July 4th. We know that is the most demanding day. Do you have a specific plan for this year, or just?
Yeah, we're going to bring you that. I mean, yes, we're working on that plan. I wasn't prepared to bring that to you. It's the same. We're challenged with staffing, and we're doing everything we can to staff.
Well, that's the most recent day. But also now, this year, we have no sale, no firework, all that stuff, right? So is that going to reducing? I hope reducing some of the firework, the accident, burning the hand and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we hope all these factors will reduce it. But as I present to the board, we are going to be hotter and drier than
Right.
we have in a while this summer, and a lot of our fireworks calls were out in the green belts, out in 12s and 13s area, months after the 4th of July last year.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you for the update.
Commissioner Wackelman?
What is if we had every position filled, how many paramedics would we have?
If we had,
like, our max capacity, like how many do we have, or what should we have as a full, organizational structure, and how many, and then the next question is how many do we currently have?
and can you, I mean, I could.
Yeah, Chief, I can get in on that. So our minimum staffing for paramedics each day is 15 paramedics each day. And with the hiring or a staffing factor of 5, that would be just quick math here, 75 paramedics. That's not inclusive of, paramedics assigned into other divisions like the CRP division or our MSOs or paramedics. And we also have captains and we have captains that are paramedics. We have battalion chiefs that are paramedics, but we don't use them for paramedic staffing. So short answer, roughly 75 paramedics is
Okay. And how many do we currently have?
in staff right now? We have
Just
roughly
of the 75.
60 roughly, I think about 63, 64, somewhere in there.
So with that, so we're what, roughly 85% filled? 85% capacity?
18 average.
Rough math. I could be off.
Yeah,
But
somewhere in there. Yeah.
if we had a total of 75, would we be having these challenges?
No, I don't think we would be having, I think we'll always have staffing challenges with the use of leave. As far as we would be in a better spot. I think there's other levers that we could also pull that would help with our staffing challenges.
We're looking, and I'll be looking for more latitude with the board to try creative approaches to things, such as, maybe if we can get ahead of the hiring, assigning extra permanent paramedic positions on the shifts, because we know there's going to be overtime every day. So why don't we staff the positions, staffing extra captains on the shifts, because we know we're going to have, there's certain captains and paramedics, we know we're going to have that overtime. So changing the way we do business, then rather just keeping the minimum amount that are needed to fill positions, adding more positions to mitigate this, and having the latitude to pilot some of those and see if we can at least control costs, if not reduce them.
Okay. And one last question I have is the 10 paramedics that are on extended leave, I believe, or have planned leave, are you counting those under the 63 in staff total?
Yes, they're part of our staffing. And that number of 63 might be a skosh higher. I just having a discussion with Chief Chalfant here on the side. So, but I mean, we're pretty close there. But yes, they are part of that.
Okay, because I'm just trying to better understand. We're talking about having, some restrictions this summer due to overtime, those type of things. We're stating that we're maybe around 85% filled with positions. We have 10 people that are extended leave. So that's counting against our number that we cannot utilize in this time period. And so I guess that's my ultimate question is, are we approaching this with the right number?
The right number,
as far as, we have 60 or 75 is our total.
Yeah.
Do we need 85?
Right. And that's where, if we can catch up with some of this hiring, that's where I'd like to start to approach staffing differently than we have in the past.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
I had a comment and a question. That's outstanding that we've got 10 paramedic students. The idea that we're building our own paramedics, pulling ourselves up by our bootstrap on that is amazing, because I remember past years we had one. So to have 10 is great. It's outstanding. I did want to go back to the original question, though, which is downgrading 3 ALS engine companies to BLS, utilizing engine 23, engine 12, and engine 21 in the summer. Is the intent when the summer is over to go back to having them filled on I'm just going to say a regular basis, not have this downgrading to BLS for those engines?
Yeah, this is temporary, but we'd also like to study the data and utilize our ALS resources. We want to maximize our ALS resources. We created those ALS resources. I think we thought we'd see more utilization out of them, and we're not. When we looked at it, it was, 99% of the time they did not require to deploy a life-saving intervention before the medic unit got there. And so I think, as we talked about with the roadmap, we need to keep studying the data and maximizing the use of our resources, especially as we're fighting these shortages. But to directly answer your question, this is temporary to get through the summer. And
okay. And so can you just help me think about what are the quality issues that you'll be thinking about related to this? Because my question is, when you downgrade those 3, I'm wondering, is there going to be a decrease in quality of service that we're providing in those areas by going from ALS, an engine company with a paramedic, to downgrading that to BLS? And I'm thinking, oh, well, maybe there'll be a decrease in quality of service. I understand the why, and I'm fine with that, but I'm just wondering, what are you watching for, perhaps, in that regard?
yeah, I mean, we're still going to be watching, what ALS interventions may have needed to be done before the paramedic unit got there. And that's why we looked at the data and found that it was 1% of the time that it was going to be needed. We were looking at what is the risk probability before we even decide to look at doing this. So those are all the things we're going to be doing our continuum. We do quality assurance on all of these calls, especially any high acuity calls. We look at those closely, whether it be asthma, cardiac arrest, all of those issues. So we're going to be looking at the same quality controls we always do, but also studying it for opportunities into the future to maximize our resources. And as I've reported to the board each year, it seems like the law allows our EMTs to do a little bit more advanced items. And if I talked about in the EMS presentation, if we are able to bring in some full-time EMT instructors, maybe we can expand to have the advanced EMT program, which I would see shifting those onto these engines, because they can do 75% of what a paramedic can do. And then I can confidently say, I don't see a reduction once we could get an advanced EMT program going.
Great. Thank you. Any other questions, comments on this issue for the chief? And Chief, you don't need any action from us. This is just informational.
We wanted the board to be aware that this is our plan for the summer.
That sounds good. Thank you. All right, that moves us forward to the agenda to item 11C, which is the Snohomish County EMS Agency, SCEMSA Board Caucus. So this is at page 141 of the packet. And my understanding is that Commissioner Lawrence, who was the alternate in position 7 on the SCEMSA Board of Directors, has resigned from the SCEMSA Board. And so the SCEMSA Board is scheduling a caucus of eligible agencies on June 9th. Yeah, June 9th. It's a virtual Zoom meeting, Teams meeting, sorry. June 9th, 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. for that caucus. So if you are interested in serving in that position, you should think about that. But not only did I just want to highlight it, that it is is happening, but we will need to appoint somebody to be the carry the vote for South County Fire, because it is it's a vote by agency at that meeting. It's not a vote by how many, you have more commissioners show up and every commissioner gets a vote. That's not what it is. It's a vote by agency. And so every agency that is part of SCEMSA gets a vote. But you have to attend the meeting and then you would have the vote. And so as an example, when SCEMSA had its first organizational meeting, first caucus for position 7, I carried the vote for South County Fire, and South County Fire actually hosted the meeting here for that first caucus to kind of get things started for SCEMSA. SCEMSA is now hosting it. We are neither South County Fire nor the Snohomish Fire Commissioners are hosting it. It's a SCEMSA function. Brian Mills from Fire District, Snohomish County Fire District 4 is holds the primary position and is the chair of the, or president, I'm not sure which that is, call it the chair of the SCEMSA Board of Directors in position 7. But this is for the alternate for that. So anyways, I wanted to highlight that tonight, because both for, if you're interested in serving that position or you want to have the vote, we still have time for our next regular meeting on June 2 to do the appointment and take a vote here, do the appointment. I saw from the materials that I would just have to get that information by the end of the evening to Scott Dorsey, the executive director. So that's going to work out perfectly time-wise. So it'll just be on the agenda for the next meeting for appointment of who carries our vote to the meeting. You would have to actually go to the meeting. So anyways, that'll be at our next meeting, but I just wanted to highlight that had come in since our last meeting. So Commissioner Lawrence, did you want to comment about that?
Yeah, if the person that is going to carry our vote actually wants to be that person,
it can be one and the same.
It can be one and the same. So kill two birds, one stone, and only one person has to go to that meeting.
There you go. Sometimes there's an advantage.
So I don't want to delegate, but can you attend the meeting just once in a while?
Oh, yes.
Understand the whole thing?
Sure. If you wanted to attend, it's a Zoom meeting. All elected officials from the fire agencies in Snohomish County, plus the cities that are members of SCEMSA. And Chief, you can help me. That's Mukilteo and Everett, I think, are the only two. Each of their council members, and maybe the mayor of each too, is eligible to serve in this position. And basically the way I saw it go down last time was you kind of show up and it's like, well, who wants to do it? And then, a little speech and then a vote. So they've only scheduled it for a half hour, so it's pretty quick. Commissioner Malcolm.
Yeah, I don't know the full process, but I am interested and just wanted to state that if there is nobody else that's wanting to do this, then I'd like to throw my name into that for that opportunity. Thank you.
Sounds good.
And Commissioner Kenny, just for clarification, we have the 7 caucuses. One is for I was on the task force that created it, and to us, it was very important. We thought it would be very rare that a city would have representation, but when we were developing this, we thought it would be very important to have a voice of the commissioner on the board. That was very intentional. Also for them to have that understanding of what's going on there. We hold our own caucus. So South County Fire is large enough. I hold that position, and then Everett and Mukilteo share one, and then it kind of goes down to larger and larger groups of fire departments. But we hold our own caucus as South County Fire as well as a voting position. So thank you.
Great. All right. That was item 11C. That takes us then to committee updates. So we will start with Capital Facilities Committee. Commissioner Walker.
First, I want to say thank you for the vote earlier today, June 9th. Definitely appreciate that. We're going to be communicating a lot with the the constituents. And other than that, we will be coming back and looking forward to the conversation June 8th.
Thank you. Next up is Finance and Human Resources, Commissioner Chan.
Yeah, we have a meeting on Thursday, 21st. The attorney will be there. We kind of look at options, like if what, worst of the worst, if we fail, what's the impact and how often do we go? It just what if situations, and so we have options afterwards. So we're getting more.
Intergovernmental, Commissioner Wittes.
Commissioner Wittes is no longer online. He's no longer with us tonight.
No longer with us tonight. All right. Anybody else from Intergovernmental have any update? That's okay.
Do you need a meeting, or what do you think? You don't think so?
We have them scheduled.
What?
We have them scheduled on rotation, so.
No, I mean, the next meeting, that's I'm asking. I'll contact him to see when we need one.
Okay, Snow 911, Commissioner Fernhoff.
Meeting was canceled for this month. Thank you very much.
All right, that was committee updates. Let's move on to commissioner comments. And I want to start commissioner comments by saying that we being South County Fire received a letter from, because now I'm thinking maybe we did talk about this, but now I'm not sure. We received a letter from Mayor Marine at the City of Mukilteo inviting South County Fire to make a presentation or be part of a conversation with the City Council on the evening of Monday, June 8th, about Mukilteo's interest in annexing into a fire entity. I understand from Chief Maxwell that they are also inviting the City of Everett and Surfer at different times, not at the same time we're there, to also come and have a conversation about that. So, so we may want to talk about that at our next meeting, and what the flavor is of the board regarding, like, what is the kind of maybe the messaging, kind of overall messaging we'd like for that type of an introductory.
Same day as the workshop.
It is, but it's in the evening.
Okay, so just keep going, in other words.
Well, the full board will not be attending.
Okay.
But we will need to talk about, like, what's the plan for that.
So
So
we're talking in June 2nd.
June, well, yeah, we'll get the conversation started on June 2nd. So I just want to let you know that that has come up, which is very nice. It's very kind and outreaching of the City of Mukilteo to make that invitation, and that's a good thing. That's very positive. So I appreciate the city and Mayor Marine's extending that invitation. It's very nice. That's what I had for commissioner comments. Other commissioner comments? Any other commissioner comments? Commissioner Chan, I knew you were good for one.
No, I just thank you for our board voting the delay, and I think we need to be really sensitive about the input from other people.
Okay, any other commissioner comments? Any other commissioner comments? If not, this was our last meeting of May. Our next meeting is going to be our regular meeting on Tuesday, June 2nd, right back here at 7 p.m. And don't forget, we have our all day, most of the day, spring workshop on Monday, June 8th. And of course, we'll be back here for now a special meeting on June 9th. So next meeting, June 2, and we have no other business. So without objection, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Great job, Jim.